Good evening. Welcome to Learning Forward. It's a Saturday, and you are with us for Read and Lead. We call this the masterclass. We started last year. Some of us joined us last year, and Gurdeep has been my co host for the whole of last year. She decided that she must go on reading with me because I think we really love it together, honestly. So this year we said, let's read something in a dialogue form. So it's like doing a theater, doing a play, doing a radio play where you have characters. Normally you'll buy an audiobook or you'll buy a physical book to read. But now you have a book which is audio and physical at the moment. So this is the unique thing about reading with us when we share screen. We are happy to share screen, but ideally I would like everyone to have that books is more fun. Today we don't have the book, so I'll tell Gurdeep in 2 minutes or maybe three. Gurdeep, could you give a backdrop to the book?
Yes. So we are reading this book that is Courage to be Disliked. And till now we are reading right now the first night. So the dialogue between the philosopher and youth is going on. And the first chapter is about the unknown giant, which says that the philosopher says that we can't discover freedom or happiness unless we choose courage over comfort. So the unknown here means the fear of stepping outside our comfort zone. Then there is a second chapter, why people can change. So this book is based on Adlerian psychology, and he says that anyone can change at any point of time, and we are not controlled by our past, but we are guided by the goals that we set for the future. So key message is it's not that I cannot change. It's it's that I don't want to change. So once we choose to, change becomes possible. That is the core message of that chapter. Then third chapter is all about trauma. That he says, the philosopher says that trauma doesn't exist. And generally, majority of people, they use their past experiences to justify their current actions or attitudes. Say, for example, if I say I'm shy because I was bullied, but Adler's psychology says that we are choosing shyness now to avoid rejection. So that is the whole idea of this chapter, the key message. And then the next chapter, that is chapter number 4, not chapter, the topic, people fabricate anger. So we use anger like as an emotion, whereas the idea is anger is a tool. So we are using anger as a tool to justify our action. And once we realize this, like anger is a choice, the philosopher says that anger is a choice, not something that just happens. So the whole core message right now is that freedom and happiness come when we stop blaming the past or others or circumstances and we take full responsibility for how we choose to live today. That is the key message.
Thank you. You talked about three giants. Yes, the three giants, if you remember, are Freud, Jung, and Adler. So Freud and Jung are philosophers, and some of us know that there is something known as the Socrates dialogue, and Plato related entire Socrates dialogue. It was never written down. That's the beautiful part. So likewise, Adler is not really a philosopher, but a psychologist. So this book is a meeting of mind and heart. It's about an Adler who is a Swiss psychologist, and it's about philosophers who exist historically. So, like Socrates, the story was brought to you by Plato, Adler brings the story here about a youth. So, the dialogue is happening between the philosopher. I try and be the philosopher, and Gurdeep tries to be the youth there. On that note, the chapter we have today is called How to Live Without Being Controlled by Our Past. Are we all happy with the screen?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Lovely. How to live without being controlled by the past. How am I being nihilistic?
Think about it. Simply put, you deny human emotion. You say that emotions are nothing more than tools, that they are just the means for achieving goals. But listen, if you deny emotion, you are upholding a view that tries to deny our humanity too, because it's our emotions and the fact that we are swayed by all sorts of feelings that make us human. If emotions are denied, humans will be nothing more than poor excuses for machines. If that isn't nihilism, then what is?
I'll pause here and pose to everyone to find out what is nihilism. You can write down the word. It's an interesting word. We don't normally use it in our day-to-day conversation. It's you can if you look at the word and look at the way it is said, nihilistic. So yes, it has an element of prophetic. It has an element of fatality. I leave it there. I want you to find that out because the whole story about reading with emotion is you don't have to look at the dictionary. The word should convey their story. Pause and back to the chapter. I am not denying that emotion exists. Everyone has emotions. That goes without saying. But if you are going to tell me that people are beings who can't resist emotion, I'd argue against that. Adlerian psychology is a form of thought, a philosophy that is diametrically opposed to nihilism. We are not controlled by emotion. In this sense, while it shows that people are not controlled by emotion, additionally, it shows that we are not controlled by the past.
So people are not controlled either by emotion or the past.
Okay, for example, suppose there is someone whose parents had divorced in his past. Isn't this something objective? The same as the well water that is always 18 degrees? But then, does that divorce feel cold or does it feel warm? So, this is now the thing, a subjective thing, regardless of what may have happened in the past. It is the meaning that is attributed to it that determines the way someone's present will be.
The question isn't what happened, but how was it resolved?
Exactly. We can't go back to the past in a time machine. We can't turn back the hands of time. If you end up staying in aetiology, you will be bound by the past and never be able to find happiness.
That's right. We can't change the past. And that's precisely why life is so hard.
Life isn't just hard if the past determined everything and couldn't be changed. We who are living today would no longer be able to take effective steps forward in our lives. What would happen as a result? We would end up with the kind of nihilism and pessimism that loses hope in the world and gives up on life. The Freudian aetiology that is typified by the trauma argument is determinism in a different form and in the road to nihilism. Are you going to accept values like that?
I don't want to accept them, but the past is so powerful.
Think of the possibilities. If one assumes that people are beings who can change, a set of values based on ideology becomes untenable, and one is compelled to take the position of teleology as a matter of course.
So, you are saying that one should always take the people can change premise?
Of course, and please understand, it is Freudian etiology that denies our free will and treats humans like machines. So, the message from this little read is the young man paused and glanced around in the philosopher's study. Floor to ceiling, bookshelves filled the walls, and on a small wooden desk lay a fountain pen. and what happened to be a partially written manuscript. People are not driven by past causes, but move towards goals that they themselves set. That was the philosopher's claim. The teleology is espoused was an idea that overturned at the root the causality of respective psychology, and the young man found it impossible to accept. From the standpoint, should he start to argue it? The youth took a deep breath. So that was one chapter. Any questions? If someone has, I'm happy to answer because this is my second read of the book. Gurdeep has also read parts of the book. There are some of us here for the first time. You may find this something you've not experienced. So if something is lingering in your mind, feel free to unmute now. If you're happy, we'll read on. Socrates and Adler.
All right, let me tell you about another friend of mine, a man named Y. He's the kind of person who has always had a bright personality and talks easily to anyone. He's like a sunflower. Everyone loves him, and people smile whenever he's around. In contrast, I am someone who has never had an easy time socially and who is kind of a warped in various ways. Now, you are claiming that people can change through Adler's teleology?
Yes, you, I, and everyone can change.
Then, do you think I could become someone like Y? From the bottom of my heart, I really wish I could be like him.
At this point, I'd have to say that's totally out of the question.
Aha, now you are showing your true colors. So, are you going to retract your theory?
No, I'm not. Unfortunately, you've almost no understanding of Adlerian psychology yet. The first step to change is knowing.
So, if I can understand just something about Adlerian psychology, can I become a person like Y?
Why are you rushing for answers? You should arrive at answers on your own and not rely upon what you get from someone else. Answers from others are nothing more than stopgap measures. They are of no value. Take Socrates, who left not one book actually written by himself. He spent his days having public debates with the citizens of Athens, especially the young, and it was his disciple Plato who put his philosophy into writing for future generations. Adler too showed little interest in literary activities, preferring to engage in personal dialogue at cafes in Vienna and hold small discussion groups. He was definitely not an armchair intellectual.
So, Socrates and Adler both conveyed their ideas by dialogue.
That's right. All your doubts will be dispelled through this dialogue, and you will begin to change, not by words, but by your own doing. I do not want to take away that valuable process of arriving at answers through dialogue.
So, are we going to try and reenact the kind of dialogue that Socrates and Adler carried out in this little study?
Isn't that good enough for you?
That's what I'm hoping to find out. So, let's take it as far as we can until either you retract your theory or I bow before you.
Are you okay? Just are you? That's the next chapter. Okay, let's go back to your query. So, you'd like to be more upbeat person like why?
But you just rejected that and said it was out of the question. Well, I guess that's just how it is. I was just saying that to give you a hard time. I know myself well enough. I could never be someone like that.
Why not?
It's obvious because we have different personalities, or I guess you could say dispositions.
Hmm.
You, for instance, live surrounded by all these books. You read a new book and gain new knowledge. Basically, you keep accumulating knowledge. The more you read, the more your knowledge increases. You find new concepts of value, and it seems to you that they change you. Look, I hate to break it to you, but no matter how much knowledge you gain, your disposition or personality isn't going to basically change. If your base gets skewed, all you have learned will be useless. Yes, all the knowledge you have acquired will come crashing down around you. And then the next thing you know, you will be back to where you started. And the same goes for Adler's ideas. No matter how many facts I may try to accumulate about him, they are not going to have any effect on my personality. Knowledge just gets piled up as knowledge until sooner or later it's discarded.
Then let me ask you this. Why do you think you want to be like why? I guess you just want to be a different person, whether it's why or someone else. But what is the goal of that?
You are talking about goals again. As I said earlier, it's just that I admire him and I think I would be happier if I were like him.
You think you'd be happier if you were like him, which means that you're not happy now, right?
What?
Right now, you are unable to feel really happy. This is because you have not learned to love yourself. And to try to love yourself, you're wishing to be reborn as a different person. You're hoping to become like why and throw away who you are now, correct?
Yes, I guess that's right. Let's face it, I hate myself. I, the one who is doing this playing around with old fashioned philosophical discourse and who just can't help doing this sort of thing. Yes, I really hate myself.
That's all right. If you were to ask around for people who say they like themselves, you would be hard pressed to find someone who'd puff their chest with pride and say, yes, I like myself.
How about you? Do you like yourself?
At the very best, I don't think I would be like to be a different person and I accept who I am.
You accept who you are?
Look, no matter how much you want to be like Y, you cannot be reborn as him. You're not Y. It's okay for you to be you. However, I'm not saying it's fine to be just as you are. If you are unable to really feel happy, then it's clear that things aren't right just as they are. You are you have got to put one foot in front of the other and not stop.
That's a harsh way of putting it, but I get your point. It's clear that I'm not right just the way I am. I have got to move forward.
To quote Adler again, the important thing is not what one is born with, but what use one makes of that equipment. You want to be Y or someone else because you are utterly focused on what you were born with. Instead, you've got to focus what you can make of your equipment. Next chapter. Unhappiness is something you choose yourself.
No way, that's unreasonable.
Why is it unreasonable?
Why? Some people are born into affluent circumstances with parents who are nice, and others are born poor with bad parents. Because that's how the world is. And I don't really want to get into this sort of subject, but things aren't equal in the world, and differences between race, nationality, and ethnicity remain as deep as ever. It's only natural to focus on what you were born with. All your talk is just academic theory. You are ignoring the real world.
It is you who is ignoring reality. Does fixating on what you are born with change the reality? We are not replaceable machines. It is not replacement we need, but renewal.
To me, replacement and renewal are one and the same. You are avoiding the main point. Look, there is such a thing as unhappiness from birth. Please acknowledge that first of all.
I will not acknowledge that.
Why?
For one thing, right now, you are unable to feel real happiness. You find living hard and even wish you could be reborn as a different person. But you are unhappy now because you yourself chose being unhappy, not because you were born under an unlucky star.
I chose to be unhappy. How can I possibly accept that?
I want to favor someone's getting these alerts in the middle. Please, can you disable those alerts, the beeps, the message beeps? It has to be someone who has a mic on. Philosopher. There's nothing extraordinary about it. It's been repeated ever since the classical Greek era. Have you heard the saying, no one desires evil? It's a proposition generally known as a Socratic paradox.
There is no shortage of people who desire evil, is there? Of course, there are plenty of thieves and murderers, and don't forget all the politicians and officials with their shady deals. It's probably harder to find a truly good, upright person who does not desire evil.
Without question, there is no shortage of behavior that is evil. But no one, not even the most hardened criminal, becomes involved in crime purely out of a desire to engage in evil acts. Every criminal has an internal justification for getting involved in crime. A dispute over money leads someone to engage in murder, for instance. To the perpetrator, it is something for which there is a justification and which can be restated as an accomplishment of good. Of course, this is not good in a moral sense, but good in the sense of being of benefit to oneself.
Of benefit to oneself?
The Greek word for good, agathon, does not have a moral meaning. It just means beneficial. Conversely, the word for evil, kakon, means not beneficial. Our world is rife with injustices and misdeeds of all kinds. Yet, there is not one person who desires evil in the present sense of the word. That is to say, something not beneficial.
What does this have to do with me?
At some stage in your life, you choose being unhappy. It should be you chose being unhappy. At some stage in your life, you chose being unhappy. It is not because you were born into an unhappy circumstances or ended up in an unhappy situation. It's that you judged being unhappy to be good for you.
Why? What for?
How do you justify this? How did you choose to be unhappy? I have no way of knowing the specific answer or details. Perhaps it'll become clearer as we debate this.
You are really trying to make a fool of me. You think this passes for philosophy? I do not accept this at all.
In spite of himself, the young man got up and glared at the philosopher. I chose an unhappy life because it was good for me? What an absurd argument. Why is going to such lengths to ridicule me? What did I do wrong? I'll dismantle his argument. No matter what it takes, I'll make him kneel before me. The young man's face flushed with excitement. People always choose not to change. Sit down. As things stand, it's only natural that our views clash. I will now give a simple explanation as to the manner in which humans are understood in Adlerian psychology.
Okay, but please be brief.
Earlier, you said that any person's disposition or personality cannot be changed. In Adlerian psychology, we describe personality and disposition with the word lifestyle.
Lifestyle?
Yes, lifestyle is the tendencies of thought and action in life.
Tendencies of thought and action.
Now, sorry, how one sees the world and how one sees oneself. Think of lifestyle as a concept bringing together these ways of finding meaning. In a narrow sense, lifestyle could be defined as someone's personality. Taken more broadly, it is a word that encompasses the worldview of that person and their outlook on life.
Their view of the world?
Yes, there's someone who worries about himself and says, I am a pessimist. One could rephrase that to instead saying, I have a pessimistic view of the world. You could consider that the issue is not personality, but rather the view of the world. It seems that the world personality is nuanced and suggests being unchangeable. But if we are talking about a view of the world, well, then that should be possible to alter.
But this is kind of confusing. When you speak of a lifestyle, do you mean a way of living?
Yes, you could put it that way. To be a little more accurate, it is the way one's life should be. You probably think of disposition or personality as something with which you are endowed without any connection to your will. In Adlerian psychology, however, lifestyle is thought of as something that you choose for yourself. I'll pause
That you,
here. Gurdeep, just give me a moment. This is interesting. Lifestyle is thought as something that you choose for yourself. It's important for me to leave this here as a highlight for you. It's food for thought for this week. Lifestyle is thought of as something you choose for yourself. Think about this, and maybe this helps you reflect. And maybe you would like to define your lifestyle at this stage as we read along. And as we read along, maybe you want to reflect again and see yourself. And that's how you will get to find yourself. Over to you, youth.
that you choose for yourself?
Yes, exactly. You choose your lifestyle.
So, not only did I choose to be unhappy, but I even went so far as to choose this bad personality too.
Absolutely.
Now you are really pushing it. When I became aware, I already had this personality. I certainly don't have any recollection of having chosen it. But it's the same for you, isn't it? Being able to choose one's own personality at will. Now that sounds like you are talking about robots, not people.
Of course, you did not consciously choose this kind of yourself, this kind of self. Your first choice was probably unconscious, combined with the external factors that you have referred to, that is, race, nationality, culture, and home environment. These certainly had a significant influence on that choice. Nevertheless, it is you who chose this kind of self.
I don't get what you are saying. How on earth could I have chosen it?
Adlerian psychology's view is that it happens around the age of 10.
Well, for argument's sake, and now I'm really going out on a limb, say that when I was 10, I unconsciously made this choice of lifestyle or whatever. Would that even matter? You can call it personality or disposition or lifestyle, but regardless, I had already become this kind of self. The state of things doesn't change at all.
That is not true. If your lifestyle is not something that you were naturally born with, but something you chose yourself, then it must be possible to choose it over again.
So now you're saying I can choose it all over?
Maybe you haven't been aware of your lifestyle until now, and maybe you haven't been aware of the concept of lifestyle either. Of course, no one can choose his or her birth. Being born in this country, in this era, and with these parents are things you did not choose. And all these things have a great deal of influence. You'll probably face disappointment and start looking at other people and feeling, I wish I'd been born in their circumstances. But you can't let it end there. The issue is not the past, but here in the present. And now we have learned about lifestyle. But what you do with it from here on in is your responsibility. Whether you go on choosing the lifestyle you have had up till now, or you choose a new lifestyle altogether, it's entirely up to you.
Then how do I choose again? You're telling me you choose that lifestyle yourself, so go ahead and select a new one instantly, but there is no way I can just change on the spot.
Yes, you can. People can change at any time, regardless of the environments they are in. You are only unable to change because you are making that decision not to.
What do you mean exactly?
People are constantly selecting their lifestyles. Right now, while we are having this tete a tete, we are selecting ours. You describe yourself as an unhappy person. You say that you want to change right this minute. You even claim that you want to be reborn as a different person. After all that, then, why are you still unable to change? It is because you are making the persistent decision not to change your lifestyle.
No, don't you see that's completely illogical? I do want to change. That is my sincere wish. So, how could I be making the decision not to?
Although there are some small inconveniences and limitations, you probably think that the lifestyle you have now is the most practical one, and that it's just easier to leave things as they are. If you stay just like this, experiences enable you to respond properly to events as they occur, while guessing the results of one's actions. You could say it's like driving your old familiar car. It might rattle a bit, but one can take that into account and maneuver easily. On the other hand, if one chooses a new lifestyle, no one can predict what might happen to the new self or have any idea how to deal with events as they arise. It will be hard to see ahead to the future, and life will be filled with anxiety. A more painful and unhappy life might lie ahead. Simply put, people have various complaints about things, but it's easier and more secure to be just the way one is.
One wants to change, but changing is scary.
When we try to change our lifestyles, we put our great courage to the test. There is anxiety generated by changing and the disappointment attendant to not changing. I'm sure you have selected the latter.
Wait, just now you used the word courage.
Yes, Adlerian psychology is a psychology of courage. Your unhappiness cannot be blamed on your past or your environment. And it isn't that you lack competence, you just lack courage. One might say you are lacking courage to be happy. Your life is decided here and now.
The courage to be happy?
Do you need further explanation?
No, hold on. This is getting confusing. First, you tell me that a world is a simple place, that it only seems complicated because of me, and that my subjective view is making it that way. And also that life just seems complicated because I make it complicated, all of which is what makes it difficult for me to live happily. Then you say that one should take the stance of teleology as opposed to Freudian aetiology, that one must not search for causes in one's past and should deny trauma. You say that people act to achieve some goal or other instead of being creatures who are driven by causes in their past, right?
Yes,
Furthermore, as the major premise of teleology, you say that people can change, that people are always selecting their own lifestyles.
that is correct.
So, I am unable to change because I myself keep repeatedly making the decision not to change. I don't have enough courage to choose a new lifestyle. In other words, I do not have enough courage to be happy. And that's why I am unhappy. Have I got anything wrong?
No, you haven't.
Okay, in that case, my question is, what are the real measures I should take? What do I need to do to change my life? You haven't explained all that yet.
You are right. What you should do now is make a decision to stop your current lifestyle. For instance, earlier you said, if only I could be someone like Y, I'd be happy. As long as you live that way in the realm of possibility of if only such and such were the case, you will never be able to change. Because saying, if only I could be like Y, is an excuse to yourself for not changing.
An excuse not to change?
Yes, I have a young friend who dreams of becoming a novelist, but who never seems to be able to complete his work. According to him, his job keeps him too busy and he can never find time to write novels. And that's why he can't complete work and enter it for writing awards. Think about this particular paragraph which I'm reading and think about what you want to do. But is that the real reason? No, it's actually that he wants to leave the possibility of I can do it if I try open by not committing to anything. He doesn't want to expose his work to criticism. And he certainly doesn't want to face the reality that he might produce an inferior piece of writing and face rejection. He wants to live inside the realm of possibilities where he can say that he could do it if only he had the time. So he's making time as an alibi, or that he could write if he just had the proper environment, and that he really does have the talent for it. In another 5 to 10 years, he will probably start using other excuses like, I'm not young anymore, or I've got a family to think about now.
I can relate all too well to how he must feel.
He should just enter his writing for an award, and if it gets rejected, so be it. If he did, he might grow or discover that he should pursue something different. Either way, he would be able to move on. That is what changing your current lifestyle is about. He won't get anything by not submitting anything.
But maybe his dreams will be shattered.
Well, I wonder, having some simple tasks, things that should be done, while continually coming up with various reasons why one can't do them sounds like a hard way to live, doesn't it? So, in the case of my friend who dreams of becoming a novelist, it is clear that I or the self that is making life complicated and too difficult to live happily.
But that's harsh. Your philosophy is too tough.
Indeed, it is strong medicine.
Strong medicine, yes, I agree.
But if you change your lifestyle, the way of giving meaning to the world and yourself, then both your way of interacting with the world and your behavior will have to change as well. Do not forget this point. One will have to change. You just, as you are, have to choose your lifestyle. It might seem hard, but it is really quite simple.
So, according to you, there is no such thing as trauma, and environment doesn't matter either. It's all just baggage, and my unhappiness is my own fault, right? I'm starting to feel I'm being criticized for everything I have ever been and done.
No, you're not being criticized. Rather, as Adler's teleology tells us, no matter what has occurred in your life up to this point, it should have no bearing at all on how you live from now on. That you, living in here and now, are the one who determines your own life.
My life is determined at this exact point.
Yes, because the past does not exist.
All right, well, I don't agree with your theories 100%. There are many points I'm not convinced about and that I would argue against. At the same time, your theories are worth further consideration, and I'm definitely interested in learning more about Adlerian psychology. I think I have had enough for tonight, but I hope you won't mind if I come again next week. If I don't take a break, I think my head might burst.
I'm sure you need some time on your own to think things over. I'm always here, so you can visit whenever you like. I enjoyed it. Thank you. Let's talk again.
Great. One last thing, if I may. Our discussion today was long and got pretty intense, and I guess I spoke rather rudely. For that, I would like to apologize.
Don't worry about it. You should read Plato's dialogues. The conduct and language of the discipline of Socrates are surprisingly loose. That's the way a dialogue is supposed to be. So, we have now had a whole night of dialogue. The second night shall be a week from now. The philosopher and the youth meet every night consecutively to discover the courage to be disliked. But we meet once a week as you have zillion other things to do. So what we normally do at this point is we add a bookmark here, and the bookmark will be shared in your WhatsApp group called Read and Lead Masterclass 2026. If some of you have been inducted into the WhatsApp community, you may be overwhelmed by the number of groups, by the number of people there, by the number of conversations they go on. But let me assure you, it's fairly simple. I will help you navigate the system here. But before I help you navigate, let me tell you, you chose to be here. And that is the beauty. That is your life changing moment. The novelist couldn't write the novel because of the excuses, but you chose to read. This, I promise you, will be your life changing moment. You have the courage to read. And that is the most powerful thing you could have done in your lives. On that note, first, I must thank my youth for believing in me. First, I must thank my youth for the courage to speak. It's not easy to speak on a camera like this. I was yesterday in Chennai and I gave a very simple way to a person sitting next to me on my table. I said, I found a very nice way to do a reflection. Before I go into a session or a class, I look into the mirror and read. Very simple. I look into the mirror and read and record that. Then when I go in the session, I tell someone to record me. It's a colleague, friend, student, whatever. And when I come back and I compare the two recordings. So I'm giving you a tool as how you can change. You're preparing a session as to how you'll speak in the class. Record it yourself on your phone. It's as easy as that. And then have someone in your class, it's like sometimes your principal or your head of department or someone senior comes by for an observation. It's very interesting that when you are getting someone with an observation eye, you will feel a bit constrained to be yourself. But if you had a colleague, a friend, a believer, a co-traveler to record what you're doing in your class, you'll find that it's much easier for you to continue doing what you are. And when you come back home and you compare what you had set about to say in your class and what you hear and in what form you hear, in what form you deliver, you will realize what you can do for yourself. And that is the power of reflection. So, on that note, I think what I want to explain to you is how things work at our end. So, let me try and get a website URL up. So, what we do every week, we meet like this and we have this reading. And then it's like what happened this afternoon. We create reflections, we create thought, we create posts. And these posts we then put up on our blog. So let me find one interesting one to pull up and tell you. So this is the blog called happyteacher.in. Look at the statistics here. It rivals anyone in the internet in terms of number of page views. So the other day we had done this session. This session is on, by the way, 7th, which was yesterday. What did you ask at school today? So what came out of the session and the reflections that came out are recorded here. All thanks to AI, we can do these things faster. So all the reflections of our reading sessions, of our meetings, which are then put together in a newsletter on Sunday. Our newsletter is published on Monday morning at 7 a.m. It'll be a capsule of what we have done at the Learning Forward Foundation the whole week. Now I'm talking Learning Forward Foundation. So let me get across to you and get out of the confusion of who we are, what we do. So we are essentially a foundation. Can anyone read the screen? Gurdeep, can you read the
Yes.
screen?
So it's future of e-learning, how tech will shape education. It's a professional learning program, the Teachers Academy.
Yeah. So we encourage teachers to join us. We essentially do little stuff. What do? We are reading, reflection. Akila, I'm sure we are developing relationships. Am I right in asking that?
Yes.
Absolutely. And this is leading to professional learning. There's experience sharing, there is thought. So we at the Learning Forward Foundation are affiliated to Learning Forward. Learning Forward is one of the largest professional learning organization for educators at school, which is teachers. So Learning Forward believes that we have all the answers amongst us as teachers, and we can form professional learning communities. So what we have here is an example of a learning community. So this is the Learning Forward India Foundation, and the Learning Forward India Foundation has some programs which we deliver to member schools of the Good Schools Alliance. The Learning Forward India Foundation programs are three: My Good School, the Teachers Academy, and the My Good School Retreat. We are here on a Teachers Academy day. Saturday is the day for the Teachers Academy, and we are reading as of now together. Sunday is the day for My Good School, where we invite everyone to read. It's not just us teachers. So what we say is Sunday is open to all from 9 to 90. As it is Sunday morning, we read three different books on Sunday. Manisha is here. She is the champion or the administrator for the Sunday school, or the My Good School as we call it. And then we lovingly call Jugjeev sir our headmaster. Then there is Brinda Ghosh. So these people come on Sunday. Sunday, Gurdeep and me don't read, but there are others who read. And we'll be more than happy to you people walk into our sessions to read. It's a real delight, let me tell you. So currently we're reading three books on Sunday. So if you want to pop in tomorrow, you're most welcome. And how to reach there? That's the question. So I think some of you may have got access to more of our WhatsApp. Let me just see if I can show you that. Okay, I can't show you that because I am at the moment only on a single screen share. So let me first finish this, then I will tell you how to get Sunday's link. So there were some questions this week. So you can join us on Fridays and Saturdays. On Friday, we have a book club. So this book club is brought to you by the English Book Depot. It's a 100-year-old bookstore, which is the anchor of the foundation. They support us. That's why we are here. So at the English Book Depot, they had this tradition of meet and greeting at the book cafe. So we thought, why not translate that experience to a larger audience? So the Friday sessions are open by invitation. On Saturday, we have two programs running. One is for ECCE, Early Years and Early Teachers. This happens at 2 p.m. My colleague Nilashi hosts it. And we currently have about 25, 30 teachers who attend this. If you wish to attend that, please do, and we can help you sign up. Similarly, this is Read and Lead, which is complimentary today, but you will have to sign up. What does sign up gives you? Sign up gives you, you can join us Fridays and Saturdays. Sign up gives you exciting Zoom sessions. It gives you mentorship. You can put your questions across to us. Remember, we are not domain specialists. I can't answer physics, chemistry, biology, but definitely I can help you make or experience the joy of learning. I can help you with the joy of giving. For us, joy of learning and joy of giving are the core messages we as teachers carry to the world. And if you come regularly, you get a certificate of appreciation. We just meet every Saturday, and today is an example. I'm traveling somewhere on the middle. I have on a pause. I just got hold of an iPad and I'm reading to you. So I know this is not a studio output. If I was in my studio, you would have found a much better space, much better learning area. We will show that to you some other day. So when you join this, it's very simple. You will get a form like this. The form will say the Teachers Academy. Gurdeep, do you see the detail of the form?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yeah, it's very, very simple. And Gurdeep used a trick the other day. She just sent a UPI to LF at IDBI. So you can do that. That's easy. But I suggest you fill up the form because that makes it easier for us to keep track of the transaction. Even when you do LF at IDBI, the UPI ID, the transaction will get sorted out because we will get to know who you are. But we would like the system to generate a receipt. If you fill the form, the system will generate a receipt, and you will if you are paying income tax, please use it for 12A and 80G exemptions. We are a not-for-profit foundation. All the contributions we collect for you make it possible for teachers who are in difficult situation to get across to us. So all the contributions we collect, we set up a facility called a learning lab in a school where you should give. And when you give to them, you experience their joy of learning. So all the contributions we get are used in giving devices, are used in enabling people who need access to knowledge and learning. And if you come sometimes on Saturday afternoons, all the schools who come on Saturday afternoon happen to be our special schools. Now, why we call them special schools? Simply because of economic disparity, nothing else. They have students like you, they have teachers like us. So we try and support them with whatever we collect from you. And Our balance sheet is available on the website where you can see every rupee which we have sent. And we don't use any of the money we collect for our administration, for our organization. The money is transparently sent out for a purpose: reading programs, master classes, certificate programs, teachers helping teachers. That's why we are here. Do we have any question? We have explained you the Learning Forward Foundation and what we do with teachers. Is there any question, Akila, from you?
No, sir. It's very clear. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the website. If you type the URL schooleducation.com, you will reach here. Now, out here, don't get too carried away with too many buttons and connections because you need time and patience. So, our message to the world is we cultivate vibrant community of readers, igniting the thrill of discovery and a love for learning. And that's what makes my good school. So originally we started this exercise in a very small way in a village school in 212, and it transformed the school into a global story. I don't want to say more because in due humility, I don't think I should talk about it today, but you can discover it yourself. The school we are talking about is the Fab India School. So when you say GSA membership, that membership actually is for Akila to follow with her school. So the GSA memberships gives the whole school access to My Good School on a subscription, Akila. So that has got nothing to do with what we are doing today. Is that right, Akila?
Yes, sir. Get it. Get
Yeah.
it.
So
Yes,
we
sir.
are in the Teachers Academy. We are not talking about a GSA membership. We are not
Yes.
talking about My Good School, which is on Sunday. So if your school joins the Good Schools Alliance, which I think they have committed because we did that on a public forum yesterday and we have record that you have become member of Good Schools Alliance,
Yes.
then you get all these benefits. You become part of our community. You get access to all our resources as open education resources. We support you in social media use and outreach. We have an internship program you get access to for your students. We have a fellowship program where you teachers can come and work. We have participation in pilot programs. Currently, we're running 3 pilots. One is a pilot with Karthik on Sunday. He talks about mental well being and he creates a series of workshops as a part of a youth engaging society. There is also a pilot happening with Shikha Agnihotri. She talks about child rights and she's working with us on creating a structure for that. So all these lovely people, they come and contribute their time, their resources to help us, what I said, teachers helping teachers. So the philosophy of Good School Alliance is that in a school, we must be collaborative, we must be serene, we must be electric, we must be prestigious. And these are the 4 colors. Why we must be collaborative? Because we must have a sense of service. Why we must be serene? Because we must have the skill to green. We must be electric, we must have energy, and that's sport. And finally, prestigious blue, which is akin to study in most cases. So if you decide to join our fellowship program as a teacher, we meet once a week on Monday evening, again 5:30, where we sit down together and build the organization we are nurturing. So last week, in fact, last month, we've had lots of excitement happening at our end. We were there in Chennai last 2, 3 days. Before that, we were in Varanasi. This was the My Good School retreat. So GSA member schools get access to the retreat. You travel at your cost, but we try and host you with our love and affection. This retreat, last one, was hosted by the Sunbeam group of schools. And I mentioned to Prabha that I'm sure someday will come that we'll have a retreat in Chennai and we will invite all the schools around, all the special projects around. So we do various things with schools as special projects. We help on special project, get hold of a bus recently. And that's how the story goes on. Yes, why don't you get a copy of this book? I'm the author. If you want a signed one, well, buy it from the English Book Depot. I'll sign it and send it because I go work there. So this is my studio above the bookstore from where I read. Here are some pictures of our past retreats, of our reading sessions. We've also conducted a physical reading session in a retreat or in a school. So this is a session in progress at the retreat where we are reading with someone in Canada. This is Lotus Petal Foundation. I'm sure she is here. Are you there, Kushi?
Yes, sir.
So that's Kushi. She got hold of a copy of My Good School. This is the Arthur Foote Academy. where we are going in the next, I think, next 5 days. They have an annual day. That's another special project in the Rajaji Sanctuary. My apologies, we are overshooting time today, but I'm taking this as an orientation. Now, this is a typical Sunday school that is happening. So, students at Sunbeam Grameen School are participating in a session like we are doing one with you. We visited the Doon School in the retreat last year, so that's a little picture of that. This is again the Sunbeam Grameen School on a Sunday. We have a lovely picture like this, which you will see soon, of your school leaders and us. This is the Joy of Learning Studio at Dehradun, from where I work. This is where we actually set up a learning space and we defined what a learning space should be like. This is again the Arthur Foot Academy. So the whole gallery, I will just quickly zip past it so that you get a feel of what we do. This is a youth engaging workshop that has just happened. So I've negotiated the whole website for you. Open resources are all here. We have a lovely YouTube channel. The recording of this session will be available soon. This session was yesterday, Nilashi's session on learning styles and moral development. She was reading a book. The session is here. Gurdeep and me were reading last week, so our session is here. And likewise, you get all the sessions here if you miss out. That's all I have to share. Yeah. Anything you want to ask me? Any question?
Yes, sir. Actually, that was a beautiful sum up of what we had spoken and you were able to take. But I'm going to open it to others who, if they have any questions, to quickly talk to you about it.
Yeah, sure. Any questions? Most welcome. Khushi, you want to tell us? Khushi, by the way, is our leader here because she has the biggest advantage. She has a long life ahead, much longer than any of us. Khushi is a student of Lotus Petal Foundation and she has the aspiration to become a teacher. So that's why she's here. So, Khushi, you want to tell us something as to what gives you joy when you come here or what you don't like about us as teachers?
No. There's nothing that I don't like about you guys. Like all the things, the way you guys are reading, the way I get to learn so much from you all, and a lot of new things and words, of course, from the books is really something that I always look for on Saturdays and Sundays. And of course, I love reading with you as you encourage me to come on this workshop and attend this reading session. And I would like to tell one thing that uh, when I read My Good School book, so the one I got from there also from the retreat. So I have two books now. So I have decided to take one book and give that to my school library so that other ones can read that too. Yeah.
That is
And
the joy of giving.
yeah.
Hats off to you. I think that's amazing. Absolutely. So, Khushi studies at Lotus Petal Foundation in Gurgaon. Yeah, over to you, Khushi.
Yeah, so thank you so much for that, for two books. Thank you so much, sir. And I got my this book, The Courage to Be Disliked, from my library teacher. So she bought that for me and she was like, "You read this, and after that we can have this in school library too." So I was like, "Okay, why not, ma'am?" And on the day I got that, we had a library period. So my friend Reet and Saiba and I, three of us were sitting with only one book and one dictionary, and three of us were reading, and we had the thing you called as joy of reading. We had that day. And
Brilliant. So, next time you can bring your friends along to reading as they've started reading Courage. So, Akila, I'm showing you real life in action. And why students don't read? Because you and me don't read. I'm not saying us, but I'm just saying you and me. So the courage to change or courage to be happy is right here. It's right here. It's being enacted. Because till today, you were saying you won't find these 45 minutes to read a book, and you actually found them. So you have the courage. You have the courage to be disliked by so many people because you're sitting here with a selfish motive with a closed door in a soundproof space. Don't bother about me, leave me alone. That's your courage. And I love each of one of you for that courage. There are no questions. So is it a stunned class? Is it a stoned class? Or is it a class told to go? Go to the class. What kind of class is this, Akila? Is it what we do at our school? Just tell all the students go inside and not
Warm
talk?
takes a little time for yeah. So I think I mean, to me, I've never been a part of any of this kind of a reading club or reading exercise, and especially in an online mode. Um, and I think I'm quite thrilled because, like you say, we don't want to spend that time taking that book and spending that hour every day. But I think this really helps us to read along, and then it feels good because there are so many with us, and a lot of discussions can happen post this using what we have read. So I mean, I'm really I can only say thank you so much, sir.
Fantastic. So what Khushi will do, she'll write her musings and we'll put that on the happyteacher.in. Khushi, will you do that?
So could you just repeat?
You will write a small reflection which we will post and show the way to everyone what we do after the session. Because at My Good School and the Teachers Academy, which are mirrors, Teachers Academy is for us and My Good School is for Khushi. So what they do in My Good School is when they read on Sunday, after that they fill up Manisha's mailbox with thought. So we don't pose any questions. If you realize, when I was reading, I was highlighting something, I was pausing something so that you could take those words or maybe those particular sentences and check what comes in your mind. So I'm again apologizing. We are going over time, but I just thought this was essential today. Some next time we will reduce the time, and we never want to cross 60 minutes. Today we just got an opportunity to show you what we are doing, and I've taken the liberty of showing you the full GSA experience or the Good Schools Alliance experience of My Good School on Sunday, of the Teachers Academy on Saturday, and the retreat when we meet every few months. Okay, Vinutha, you want to ask something? You want to say something? We love you for coming onto the stage.
It's been a wonderful session, sir. It was intense. The reading was little intense, but yeah, being the first session, I think everybody is little quiet and trying to absorb what is happening here.
Yeah.
Generally, our group is a very interactive group, and going forward, I think we'll be able to have a lot more conversations. Good start.
Yeah. Fantastic. So, today we are focusing on the ability to listen, not on the ability to speak. So, you have not done, it's supposed to be done like that, because when you're reading, you must focus on listening. And here you had a voice to help you do that. Normally, when you have a book, you don't have a voice to help you do that. So if your sight and your sound are in synchronicity, there will be resonance. And we try and create that resonance by the power the way we read. And I'm sure you must have seen Gurdeep and me, we put a huge amount of force into what we do. And this is what Amitabh Bachchan's voice does in a dialogue. Or this is what Shah Rukh Khan is able to do. He's able to convey a feeling. This is what any actress or actor would do. They convey their feelings with the intensity of their voice. Think about it. You may see them attired, but it's actually the power of their voice, power to listen. And that's what we must appreciate when we sit down together to read. And I wonder why, but I think radio was perhaps the biggest way for us to learn. But then came TV and we got carried away and we lost both. We lost sight and we lost sound. And then came the devices, we lost every sense. So we are trying to reclaim, but with the device. So we've gone a step ahead. And that's why this Teachers Academy says diljito.com. That's our URL. And the future of e-learning. That's what we are trying to do. So we are trying to adapt to this new environment of e-learning. That's what we are doing just now. So thank you all. It's been a wonderful evening. But before I go, I want my rock stars to say a few words, and then we will show you how reflections work, because Khushi will send a reflection and Manisha will post that. Over to you, Manisha.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. And yes, before I start anything, I just want to say that yes, curiosity should be there. So I welcome you all for my Sunday session. So Jugjeev sir is there. He's going to be the host and he's reading with us. So come and see how we move it forward for the students and for all of us, how we are reading it, how we are reflecting, and how the students are they really love to interact with Jugjeev sir. So please come and see it for yourself how our session goes.
Yeah, Manisha, just as a ending of this and to show what you do tomorrow in case someone has the time, just come for 5-7 minutes. Don't spoil your Sunday, if I may say that. Well, if you love to read, you can come for 2 hours. We'll be there. So what Manisha will do, the message she has posted in the group of My Good School, she will post it in Read and Lead today, just for today. Because Akila, I don't want to get lost in navigating on those groups because it's a little, sometimes even I find that 13 groups, where to post the message for what. So it's a question for most of us. But as we go along, you will understand that each community has a purpose there. There's a special projects community. There is My Good School community for Sunday. There's the Brewing Knowledge community for Friday. There is this Read and Lead community for Saturday. Then there is a community for a purpose everywhere. So you will navigate that slowly. And I think it will take us a few weeks for us to engage and roll out every aspect of our Learning Forward Foundation's offering at your school. And I'm sure by Christmas, we'll all be happy. That's what I can promise. And like people at your end said, why not come here and do everything physically? We will do that in Chennai next year sometime. So Manisha is inviting you to tomorrow. We are closing with a vote of thanks by Gurdeep.
So thank you everyone for coming here and taking out time from your busy schedule. So to conclude, I would say, if you're saying I can't read because I don't have time, it's not like that. It's I can't read because I don't want to. So it all depends what you want to choose, whether you want to change your lifestyle or not, whether you want to come for a reading session or not, whether you want to read book or not. It's your choice. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I bow down to each one of you in due regard. I love you, teachers. God bless you. Please give me space on your feet. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.